to just go live with you all because I haven't done that in a million years. I've got a couple little projects I thought I'd take care of. Honestly, I kind of like to be at the shop working because I'm on a super roll and it feels good to be back again in building. But got to do a couple things, so I thought I'd spend some time with you all. And what's up, Shashank? Casey, what is your dream car garage? Honestly, man, this is it. This is as good as it gets. 2-car garage keeps you from getting too crazy at home. Life is good. Nice neighborhood, nice family. Life is generally pretty good. I'd like to feel better, though. That's why I'm dressed all warm. But it'd be kind of cool to have a secret underground layer, so that people wouldn't think you got all this stuff, and then not do YouTube. That would be helpful. Kind of like a bat cave. That'd be a good way to go. But yeah, man. So that's what's going on with you. How are you doing? And also for all of you, those of you who are signing in, say what's up and say where you're watching from. It's pretty cool how we get to all connect all over the world together like this. So Coasters and Cars is saying, love the content, giving me motivation to finally start my supercharged Frontier street truck build. I dig it, man. Was there any particular builds that especially got you all fired up to get going on it? Maybe the Viper. What's up, Jordan P? I'm doing okay. Just getting over being sick. I was really feeling good yesterday. Hopefully I get better. What's up, Utah? Happy New Year's from Iowa. Isn't that the the fictional home of Captain Kirk? I think Iowa. Yes. Thanks. Yeah, I bought this sweater in Amsterdam before I went sailing on the Stad Amsterdam. So I've worn it at sea. What's up, New Jersey? Some buy one of your 7 motorcycles. What kind of bike did you sell, man? What's up, Jim? In your face. What's up? Yeah, Hellfire. I want to know. Let's see. What kind of motorcycle did you sell? Anyway, King Zero was probably his biggest motivation. I dig it, man. Been looking at the car. It's under plastic up on the lift in the shop. Been thinking a lot about getting back on it. The only thing that's a drag, I'll be straight with you guys on the King Zero, is it takes up so much of the shop and it's so dirty and such a mess fabricating and working on it. And it's like fun, but it wears on you and you come home filthy all the time and you just ruin all your clothes and you trash the whole shop and you put so many hours into creating that you want to build something. So that's why I've been really enjoying working on the Viper because, even though some of those things are big builds and projects and time, like those custom caliper mounts for those awesome PFC calipers and rotors, you get to see a little more fruit of your labor quicker. So kind of enjoying that. So let's see what else you guys got going on. Yeah, Northwest cold ass shit. What's up from Wood County? Hey, man. Yeah, it's cold outside. I was shoveling all that slush last night. What's up from Portland? He's selling his 2020 R3. Okay, that's cool, man. John Wayne, the Everly Brothers, Johnny Carson, too. What? How? From Iowa. Oh, those guys are also from Iowa. Okay, nice. Did you film when you installed the Fab Speed exhaust on the Murcielago? I was waiting for a video of that. Would be cool to watch. No, man, sorry, I didn't. It's in there. I enjoyed it, doing it. But, to be straight up with you guys, I just haven't filmed a lot of the stuff I've been working on in a while. And the reason being is it takes away so much time and it distracts from reality to get any projects done. And that's one of the hardest things about being a car YouTuber. And I think that's why it's so hard for anybody that actually has real talent or does builds that matter in the real world to do YouTube regularly, because the camera and the editing just takes so much time and distracts from doing good work. So I'm kind of saving what I do on YouTube for things that I think people will enjoy or care about, or I really want to show with you guys that's different. And I've just been banging through some projects on my own. So, some of that stuff you may only get to see updates on my community channel, but I hope that's okay. I got something cooking right now. We'll see if it hits. And I'm just cleaning up life, cleaning up the shop, making everything nice, finishing up projects so that I can pick a road or two and just go down on full throttle, metaphorically speaking. Oh, let's see here. Cheers from Argentina. What's going on? Ohio there. Greetings from Norway. Hello. I had a V6 G8 that I fully built and boosted. 9 PSI Pro Charger built V6 built tranny. Here from Chicago. Any plans on putting a wing on the Viper? Ooh, that's an interesting question. So you may have seen regarding my Viper build, I'm kind of almost done with what I call stage 1. Now, in parentheses, I have to tell you, I always hated and basically everybody that works at Jegs also hates it. Where people are like, hey, you got the stage 1 thing, the stage 2 thing, the stage 3 thing. Hey man, I want to go full race. Yeah, those are all buzzword idiots for idiots. But and everybody makes fun of people that come into Jegs and be like, I want full race. Like, do you know what that doesn't even mean anything? And no, you don't want full race. Anyway, but I call the Viper build stage 1. So what stage 1 for me is, did the KW 2-way adjustable coilovers. Obviously, it's low. Got the Hoosier slick racing tires on it. Got the big PSC floating rotors, 6-piston and 4-piston calipers front and rear. Bunches of little things. Oil catch cans, trap doors in the oil pan. Some stuff on the interior, just so like the minimum stuff can be to make the car what I consider trackable. Like you could actually drive it hard and it not falter. Just got to get the car in shape, so to speak, so it can actually run the marathon without needing to slow down. And then from there, I'll go on the next. So regarding the wing on the Viper, my idea is this. I was thinking about taking off the Hennessy wing, which would be annoying because some idiot drilled a bunch of holes in the car to do that. And then there'd be holes, or I'd have to have them fixed and painted nicely. And then put a wing on it. And then what am I going to do with the Hennessy wing? So I thought about it. And actually, the young man doing the IndyCar had this idea. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to use the Hennessy wing and build like a Le Mans wing, like an F40 in the middle, and build it composite Y, possibly for like a Clark Y airfoil we were talking about, and make the center section of the Hennessy wing be an actual airfoil. So it'll be a little narrower, but it may be bigger, a little fatter, and have some flat wing fences. So that's the thing we're going to do. It'll look a little crazy, but that'll be kind of stage 2 if I like the Viper for the track and I want to get silly with it. And that's what I want to do, a blown diffuser in the rear, because it'd be real easy, frankly. Anyway, okay, let's see what you guys got going on. Casey, what is your degree in, and what job would you shift gears to if you called it on the Genius Garage? Mine was fine art with the centering in industrial design, which is a horrible decision. But that's what happened. I should have been in mechanical engineering, but various life aspects took me that way. I think basically all fine art degrees in America are garbage. If you really want to be good at art, go to Paris or go somewhere else. It's just a load of horse crap to take your money to the United States. Anyway, so I was basically like Ferris Bueller in college, if that means anything. Hello from Zurich. Hello, Philip. All right. Justin here. Very nice of you. Had to sell my Miata at the request of my girlfriend since she couldn't drive it due to an arm injury. Nice. That was immature, but funny. You're welcome. I have no sports car now. What? Any suggestions? Replacement? Also, any good rants against the system? Oh, I got rants against the system, baby. I've been holding them all back from you guys. That's why I did the channel, The Golden Shovel. So go to @Casey's Golden Shovel and subscribe. I'm putting videos on it yet. Reason being is, when I start putting videos on that channel, there will be no going back in life from it at all. So, yeah. Anyway, that will actually unleash full Casey. So, yeah, check that out. Yeah, man, we got to get you a sports car. And so I don't understand why you had to sell that car since your girlfriend hurt her arm. Tell her to shift to her left arm. Actually, I know a guy with one arm who can drive stick. He even tracks it. Yeah, so you're good. Anyway, greetings, Casey. Hey, folks, smash that like button. Thanks, Ward. Thank you. This person would like more driving videos, and the previous ones helped him a lot. I may do that. I don't actually have a stick shift car right now that I drive in the winter. Let me think. No. All my stick cars I'm kind of saving for the summer because they're like boutique-y, handmade, kooky things. But yeah, we can do some more. Industrial design is an awesome degree, but it's so niche, man. It's so niche. And I also have to point out, industrial designers in college get wildly arrogant. They think they're special, and just because they can draw pretty things, it'll magically appear, and they can't build their way out of a wet paper bag. So I really think, teachers and professors need to do a better job of that, but the students probably get arrogant because the professors are wildly arrogant. Anyway, movable active aero. No, it's not going to be movable, but a blown diffuser would be cool. And the other thing is, if I'm building just a custom car for kicks, I can do anything I want that wouldn't be legal in racing. So actually, I may be putting turbo fans on all of the wheels of the Viper. You know, like 1980s Porsche 962. It's kind of like a flat disc, looks like a BMX from the 80s, but it's got kind of like fans in it to pull the air out from under the car. And I've got an idea to build sort of a flexible skirt under the car. Yeah, Dodge Viper with a skirt. We're going to get the trans jokes going today. Anyway, so my Dodge Viper identifies as having more downforce and doesn't care about rules. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Is it realistically possible to put a regular car engine in an old clapped out Indy or F1 car as a project to be driven on a track? That is a great question. Little Boo Boo, do you want to come be in the video? Boo Boo. My wife and kids over there. Anyway, okay, so that's a great question. Let's talk about that for a minute, you guys. So IndyCar or F1? We're gonna talk, say, like, let's just say 70s, the modern day. They're all a monocoque chassis after space frame. That's Alice, and that's Taylor. Hi. Anyway, here's the problem with that. All of those race cars were designed to have engines that are fully stressed members, meaning the engine becomes part of the chassis, and it has to bolt in, and it has to be able to take the loads of the chassis, including a lot of torsion, without hurting itself. And street car engines are not made to do that. Now, that being said, there was something in the 90s called the American IndyCar Series, where you could take Indy cars from like the early 90s and 80s, and a lot of those guys would run stock block Chevy V8s with just like a couple of added braces. So as an example, the Genius Garage Indy car, which is from the year of split, 96, 97 Champ car, we're putting in a Honda K Series, which is not really a great motor for it. It's too small. And all these idiots that think K Series are good for 1,000 horsepower, they're not. They'll get blown to smithereens, okay? They're good for a few hundred. It's just that lots of people do it. They're super cheap, so everybody gets excited because you can get some things out of it. Just because it makes horsepower for 3 seconds and grenades itself doesn't mean it's a good motor. But anyway, so we're putting that in there because you can build it. I don't care if it blows up. And it's the platform is way too good of a platform for that motor. I know that sounds bad, but it makes sense in this circumstance. So we're building the billet oil pan, which is dry sump pan, is also the structural member at the lower that picks up the points of the race car and the transaxle that's structural, as well as some very strong trunnions or A-arms. So we'll be able to make it so the engine doesn't really have to be stressed. It'll be kind of a little stressed, but not really. Okay, that was a long question. It can be done, but it's not remotely as easy as people think. You don't drop engines in race cars. The engine has to become part of the race car. All right, let's see. Doodly-doo. Can't wait for content on the Golden Shovel channel. Yeah, me neither, man. I really want to hit it. I'm going crazy watching this state of the world. I have to point out to all you guys, remember that Dave Chappelle said this the other day, and I thought it was brilliant. He's like, the problem is that people stopped looking at things as right or wrong. They started looking at things as better or worse. And if you go through your life just finding something that's better or worse, you can be led astray or anywhere. Be around terrible people, terrible things, etc. So you have to live your life with what is right and wrong, and truly good and bad. And for all the people out there that think I create a lot of enemies, no, I don't. But if somebody's a piece of garbage, if they're liars or manipulators, I don't care if they're going to dance some carrot in front of my face. I'm just not going to work with you. So just remember, guys, there's a right and wrong exists. And it doesn't care what color you are, what orientation you are, what religion you are, or who your government is. There's a right or wrong. Just throwing that out there. Okay. Hi from Belgium. What are your desires and plans for the future? Well, it'd be fun to make a lot of money. So, you don't worry about that for your family. You play with cars, but that doesn't do enough. Just want to, feel personally fulfilled, man. So many things in life already are taken care of and great. Want to take care of the family, but I just want to find my niche and some place where I don't have any ceilings and I don't have any roadblocks. I just want to be able to light that afterburner and go and focus. So that's what I'm trying to find. With this channel, I really pulled it back to idle. You guys can probably tell, and because this is not the end all be all. And I have to point out, I think so many of these big YouTubers, especially car YouTubers, they're totally disconnected from reality. In fact, let me turn this heater down. Let's get kind of warm in here. I just think the big automotive YouTubers get totally disconnected from reality, and they don't care because YouTube made them famous and made them special. And so they're just dancing clowns in a fishbowl, doing whatever strikes the algorithm. But I don't like that. I'd like to think I was somebody in the real world and had actual value in the real world before I did YouTube. And I just can't let go of that. And I just refuse to not tell the truth. So, hey, if you want any opinions right now on YouTube or YouTubers or anything like that, I'll tell you the truth. And if people don't like it, then pull your head out of your own ass and come out in reality. And if you don't want to, I don't care. I asked a while about doing that to the wing, maybe lost in translation. This person was talking about the Viper wing. Yeah. Okay. Oh, a fellow no snob Porsche 944 squad here. Any new 944 plans? Maybe 944 turbo. Yeah, I'd like to get a 944 turbo. I've been thinking about that and maybe doing a 944 build in the future. I really want to get back doing that. Oh, hello, Casey and everyone here from Saudi Arabia. What's up, dude? That person just writes K-series question marks. Gonna need more of that. Any plans for more aviation-related content coming? Local AMP. I was kind of hoping we're already going to do something with this already. There's a small chance in the next couple of years, maybe I'll get to do something with an F-104. Yes. I do hope if that happens, we get to go full balls to the wall. Because I'm in the mood to do some Chuck Yeager shit and see the sky turn black. Howdy from Chicago. Life's been busy, but I'm about to build another model airplane in a week. Hopefully you don't crash it too soon. Half the fun is repairing them. Yeah, I like flying them, not breaking them, though. What are you building, man? How are you building it? Let's see. My base model 3000 GT identifies simultaneously as a Testarossa and a Safari 911. And it's standard, of course. Well, I would love to know what your Mitsubishi's pronouns are then, sir. And then I'll just give it my own anyway. Hey, Casey, do you have tips for someone young that's new into bikes? I'm tempted to buy something and you see if I can get it running, but I'm afraid that won't be good for learning to ride. You know what, man? You're right. You got a point there. There's some cool Hondas from the 70s and 80s, don't go big on displacement. There's cool bikes out there that are 500 cc's and less. There's plenty of 300s and 400 size stuff, of various Japanese bikes, 70s and 80s. It'd be great to cafe out, but maybe get something that's already running, that's a little closer to get your skills up across the board, and don't bite off too much right now. So maybe get something that's running and just keep your eye out, learn a lot, make a good deal. You'll be farther ahead that way. That's funny. Justin was talking politics and how low the bar is nowadays in America. Because at least in the past, when our politicians lied to us, they were drooling all over themselves. That's kind of funny. Right is always right, and wrong is always wrong, no matter if everyone is doing it. Yes, sir. Casey, my work commute is 2 to 3 hours a day. I could leave now for a job closer to home with the same title, or wait 1 year and leave for a promotion elsewhere in-house. Should I stick it out or job hop? That's a tricky one, man. I'm the wrong person to ask personally. I can only tell you through relating to my wife and such and friends. There's a lot to weigh on that. That work commute is horrific. That really is horrific. You're burning a lot of your life just doing that. I would figure out the amount of hours you're losing a year to a commute and the cost, and then factor that on paper with what this other job is, and see what you could change, how you could change your life for the better by having that time and resources, not having the commute in comparison to what the new job would be. But then you have to weigh it with, I don't know if this is the word, longevity, like how long you think it's going to last, the job, if you're worried about that, because I think the job market right now is horrific. I think some scary times are coming. So that's all I can really tell you. But, write it down, weigh it out, man. Hey, Casey, what engine would you recommend for a swap in my RX-8? I would recommend you fix up what's in there. And if you want something with an LS, just buy a Corvette. Don't you dare engine swap it. You spend a lot of time and money to make it something else. And then when you get done, you're going to be just like my Marine buddy who put an LS in a 300ZX. He's like, dude, you're right. I should have just bought a Corvette. You know what he drives now? Corvette. You're welcome. This person writes, are you Jewish? Do I look Jewish? No, I'm not Jewish. Why did you ask that question? Did I say some Yiddish word or something? Hey Casey, what in? Oh no, we did that. Hey Casey, do you practice manual board drafting? If so, any advice on tools, tips? Hard to find old school techniques online. Oh, nice. I used to do that. I think I had like the last class in high school where I actually had a drafting board and T squares and stuff. I think it's a lot of fun. It's enjoyable and it's a way to really feel it and get your details down. I guess I don't really have any tips other than the fact that nobody does it anymore. So you should be able to buy all the equipment and things you need very cheaply off of Facebook Marketplace or something. So have at it, man. Really don't know what to tell you beyond that, but just look out there. Maybe find yourself some old blueprints, draftings from the 70s and 80s, like the BD5 microjet. We used to have a lot of those. And just learn from the past, look at the techniques, look how they rendered and stuff. It'd be really good. Actually, I did that in college too. Do you collect Legos? Not anymore. I played with Legos when I was a kid. I might still have a couple, but just I think I have like one Lego Indy car from the 80s when I was a kid laying around somewhere. How do I like replica Jeeps? That's a thing? I mean, shouldn't you just buy a Jeep? I don't know. I didn't know about that. In regard to automotive YouTubers, what are your thoughts about Cletus McFarlane channel? It's been one of my favorites for the years. Cletus, I can't remember his real name. He was in school. He was going to get a law degree, and then he decided to be a professional redneck. I think that's what he says, or hillbilly or something like that. It's an act, but he's a real guy. So it's kind of like he's playing a character of himself in his own life. I think it's cool. I think he's okay, but in a manner of speaking, he's kind of locked himself in his own fishbowl world too. And the builds that he does and what he does with his time and how he acts and what he buys and everything is now dictated to the character that he made himself. So he sort of typecast himself in a role of his own life. And I would go insane if that was me because I like to do new things and go places. And I think he's kind of stuck in a niche. That's my personal opinion. I don't have anything negative to say. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Hey, New Zealand. Awesome. I should probably, right. But also, if you guys got a question or something you want to bang through, super chats are cool. And at the very least, it helps buy pizza and lunch for Genius Garage students. So I always like to use the super chat money for that typically, if you got something you really want to say. NC Miata Motors goes straight in with minimal effort if you aren't a power hero in your RX-8. Yeah, well, so would a Briggs & Stratton motor. No offense to Miatas. Just buy a Corvette, please. Just buy a Corvette. You'll thank me. Sorry if you've said it already, but what's the latest on the Lotus F1 car? Got it running correctly, etc. Oh, good question. I have 3 people around the world that reached out to me. One person at Mototech, which I think is Cosworth's old stuff. Cosworth and Pectel would not ever respond to an email to me or any of my students. I think they're assholes, complete assholes at Cosworth and Pectel. Rodin, who had the rights to those cars, I reached out to them about doing something together. And then the woman wrote me back and said, "Oh, that's great. We're thinking about doing things in America. Can you give me any suggestions on where to go?" And I told her, "Well, you should go here, 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 here. Don't go there. It's a waste of time and money. That's not your clientele." She's like, "Oh, can you do this, that, and the other thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but why don't we have a video call and talk about having an actual sort of business relationship?" And then they just ghosted me. Just losers. But anyway, so the nice person from Mototech reached out. There's another person that's reached out on how we can actually talk to the doggone ECU and if the ECU battery is dead, what to do. And then another person has helped me source original unused coil packs for that thing. So we got 2 brand new sets of coil pack assemblies, but they were used on an IndyCar Cosworth XG. They're the same thing. So I got to check the wiring and make sure I don't have to change some pins on it, but that should solve it. But to be perfectly honest, I spent the last couple of months working very hard on my own projects in life, and I really don't have time to screw with the Lotus F1 car because it's Genius Garage, there's no students around. So I think maybe if it's Aiden or other students or anybody that comes around this spring and summer for racing, we'll get at it with that. But I feel pretty confident in getting the Lotus F1 car going. But that's one of those things that's a long burn. It only exists to teach and do stuff with students. So I'm only going to really be doing it with that. I just have to caretake the car and the Genius Garage program in the meantime. That's sort of my honorary honor/burden of life. But hopefully it'll come out this year and run perfectly, and we'll actually get to, make a good display of it and have a nice race. All right. Hey, Casey, I just graduated from college with a degree in math education because I have a love of teaching, but I'm lost because schools have become such a toxic environment with no respect or pay. Ideas. All my ideas would have been retrospective, so it's past for that. Yeah, I think schools suck, but you might be able to find the right spot. You might be able to be the right change that you need to be in a school system. So maybe you can look at it differently. Um, take a fresh look that way of how you can find an environment that will suit your love of teaching, but allow you to be a positive change you need, and perhaps how to look at the scenario to best coexist there because without good people that realize and understand school systems are toxic and or horrible and or taken over by leftist loonies, um, the future will be bleak indeed. So we need you, sir, and I hope you'll look at it smartly and make a positive change. What's your favorite touring race car, period of touring race cars? German DTM, 80s and 90s. Did you call that a touring car? Yeah, Deutsche Touring. Yeah, touring. Yeah, that's what I liked. The Australians are insane too. That's kind of fun now and then. Okay, do I sell merchandise? Yeah, there's t-shirts and stuff. Just go down and channel and dig around. You'll find it. I appreciate it. I really like your fuel efficient car the most. What's the max efficiency you can get theoretically? Okay, that's the Omega car, the white one in the shop. It's all smooth. I am going to get that out again soon. When the Dodge Viper is done in the next couple of days, I'm going to put it down. I'm going to rock out on the Formula B. I want to get some things done on that. Then I'm going to get on the Omega car. I don't know what the max miles a gallon it's going to get. I'm just going to go with that. It should be over 100 on the highway, but we're going to find out here soon. And I'm probably going to shoot my mouth off about all the BS and politics between electrical cars and fuel. Ugh, idiots. They're all idiots. Want to choke on an engine swap? Volvo, bare tone, stupid PRV motor died, so putting 2.3 EcoBoost and a 6-speed in it. You could have just taken care of it and then sold it and got something with an EcoBoost. Like, I hate to tell you guys this, but engine swaps suck in general. They just do. Like, I'm not an engine swap guy, guys. I don't think it makes good logistic sense. I think engine swaps exist because people are too in love with a particular kind of car. I think there's times and places for them in life, and it's a lot less frequently than people think it is. Sorry, it's just my opinion. Beer man in the house. What's up, John? Waiting on a plane in LA. Thanks for the entertainment. I got it. I hope you got a drink at the airport. Too much automotive content is shock value driven, has no true automotive passion. What happened to genuine car people? We got killed by the algorithm. Yeah, dude, automotive YouTube is rough. Oh, Anzel from Dubai. What's up, man? Yeah, he writes, you were kind enough to sit down with me, and I never failed to bring it up how much of a gentleman you are and a person any chance I get. I want to say you always have my support. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I had fun with you. That was cool. When I was in Dubai, you guys, dude hit me up. I was walking around the Marina District, and I can't remember what it was. I'm like, hey, man, I don't know what you got going on, but I got nothing going on in the Marina District for the next 3 hours. You come by, I'll, have a drink with you here or whatnot. So I think we got cappuccinos. It was a good time. It was a good time. It was fun to meet, car guys and, being on the other side of the world. That was cool. That was great fun. Have a great weekend, man. I asked you how the weather is there, but I imagine it's sunny and nice. Also, what do people in Dubai think about all the shenanigans in the Middle East right now and America? I'm curious. What about that car that has an extra motor that holds it down? What about that car that has an extra motor that holds it down? Oh, you're talking about the Chaparral 2J? It's a purpose-built race car. It's not an engine swap. Has a snowmobile engine in it to blow ducted fans to pull the air out from underneath it. What do you think of regular car reviews? I don't watch it. I know of it. I think it was funny to me like 4 years ago for a little while through the students, but I don't watch it. I don't have anything negative to say. It's a shtick. That guy's not stuck in a fishbowl. See, that's kind of smart. The regular car reviews thing can just be that. Like the Stradman as an example, I can't watch 2 seconds of any of his videos. I mean, that's got to be exhausting to act like you're on drugs 24/7. I think that's rough. But if you're doing something like regular car reviews, that kind of works because you just drive the cars and you do your silly character, and then you can go be yourself somewhere else, you know? Hey, Casey, I saw in a video that you enjoy fly fishing. I have a lot of great memories learning how to fly fish with my grandpa. Who got you into the sport? How are you holding up well? That's a nice question. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I was fly fishing in the Petrolicious video with the Viper. It's called Truly Raw. I think if you guys want to watch some really good fly fishing video in the beginning of that. So in my hometown, there were two old guys, World War II vets that golfed at the golf course I was always at, and they also fished. So when I was a kid, they'd take me fishing, and there was Joe and Ed was a mechanic on B-17s, if I remember correctly. And he was like an old bait caster fisherman, you know, kind of like those old 1940s like cartoons of like going fishing gone wrong of the sportsman. That was Ed. And then Joe, fly fishing was his thing, and that was his art. I'm trying to think, he's in the Army. Was he in the Army War II? I don't remember. I know he had an old Jeep, an old Willys Jeep. Anyway, so Joe taught me how to fly tie and fly fish. So I learned from the World War II vets when I was a kid, and that's all I do now with fishing because I like the art of it. Would you be interested in doing a super SUV project like the kind of stuff in the UAE, the patrols, or the Hiluxes in Saudi Arabia? I could be into that, but you know, where I live here, I'm not really into that because it's not really so much of a thing. I'd probably be more into that if I lived in, you know, the UAE. So I dig it, but the thing about YouTube is YouTube doesn't pay the bills for any old build. So the big YouTubers that build all this ridiculous stuff, the ridiculous stuff has like no real world value in the real world. It only works for YouTube. So if you're not getting ridiculous views for it, you're just wasting time and money. So the stuff I have to do has to be worth it to me, and you know, not a bad ROI, so to speak. Shut up, Scott Johnston. The mom jeans joke is not good. Scott doesn't get out of the house, you guys. He's a doctor. He's got like 1 million little girls in his house, and his wife, all of their friends are of the rainbow community, so he doesn't get to make good man jokes enough, right, Scott? So everybody, we need to help Scott come up with some better dad joke insults for me. Please help Scott come up with some good one-liner rips on Casey, yours truly. I'm giving you permission. Okay. Hey, Casey, I want to build an ultralight aircraft for personal use. What design should I go with? The one least likely to get you killed, sir, and the one that's most fun to fly. I don't know what that is. First time catching your live. Have you seen Super Fast Matt's off-road Viper build? I have not. Maybe I'll look that up sometime. I don't know if I'm really into that. I know people are into like, what do you call them? Exo cars, or exo carts or whatever, and doing off-road builds of Corvettes and stuff, but it's been done, guys. And like, I know YouTube's all about being the first, but I just, it's like, it's not that, what's the point? I hate to say it like that, but if I want an off-road car, I'd either have a mid-engine dune buggy like I did in the past, or get a Lancia Stratos and be cool. That's the way I feel about it. So maybe it's cool. I'm just not into it. Was aviation your first real passion? No, my first real passion were trains. I like trains. I do. I like steam locomotives and animals. That's what I loved when I was a kid. Then it was cars. Hey, Casey, I don't know if you remember, but I reached out to you on Instagram to ask about how to get to sail on a tall ship. I've secured a 2-month voyage this summer in between semesters. Very cool, Liam. So what tall ship are you sailing, and how is it configured, and where? We would like to know. And by we, I mean me. I'm from Australia, by the way. I worked in it for the last 20 years and took a break for a while to work in a small independent Ducati shop in Sydney. Pay wasn't good, but man, the work was peaceful. Well, that could be nice. Yeah, I like Ducati. I got one right there. That's the custom one I built with Peyton a few years back. I never wired it and cleaned the carbs and stuff. So I'm going to do that here pretty soon. Have you ever considered coming to England and racing at Goodwood Revival? I'm sure you could get a ride. That's nice of you to say. I don't know if I could. I would love to. I would dearly, dearly love to. Maybe I should put something out there in the YouTube channel. That seems presumptuous. You know, here's the thing. So let me speak honestly, and I literally don't mean any of this negative. But the Goodwood Revival, the type and caliber of people who own cars and drive there are It's a high level, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's very good. But I relate it to this. This is kind of my guess a little bit. So I went to the Velocity Invitational a few years back. Lovely vintage race. And I had such a nice time. Everyone behaved themselves well and were gentlemanly and friendly. And the racing was sporting. And it was just sunny days and red wine. It was great. I had a little time. I said to somebody I knew, somebody who frankly is worth an amazing amount of money, very nice person. I said, it's so amazing here at Velocity Invitational. Everybody here comports themselves as gentlemen compared to the SVRA, where everybody treats you like garbage. And he goes, that's because you're at the high level of car society. None of those people have anything to prove anymore. They just want to have fun. Versus like middle end vintage racing, it's still all ego and BS. So I think maybe the Good Revival would be like that also, but people at a very, very high caliber level of like that generally are the opposite of social media in the YouTube world. So they would probably have to know me better for that to work, or I would have to be formally introduced by someone of high standing to the people to do something like that, if that makes sense. It's more of a traditional European world is my guess. So I'd love to do it, but I don't have that contact now, and I don't think I have. Maybe my Formula B, but I don't have a car I believe is eligible for any of their events at the moment. But it'd be nice. I'd rather do the revival rather than the hill climb. I just think it's better. Okay, enough of that. Do I use 3D scanning of cars or parts for your builds or student education? Absolutely effing not. The worst thing Genius Garage could have in it are computers, because that's where everybody wastes all their time, and that's where people have too much emphasis in school placed on it. I need students to be able to design in their heads and fabricate right now, and at most do drawings. That's what's missing from the world. And I find the computers mostly slow you down. And I mostly just do prototyping stuff. So it's very rare that I'll do anything computer related. And the machining stuff that typically I'll have to have done somewhere else, I can just do a quick actual drawing with paper to communicate to them precisely what needs to be done. So I do not like computers with Genius Garage. It makes them go backwards. I'm being real with you guys. The weather here is actually nice. It's not too cold, not too hot, perfect weather. But the next couple of weeks, it will get a lot colder and probably will snow in the northern parts of Saudi Arabia. Oh, interesting. Okay. Hey, Casey, what do you think of the Edison Motors truck? It's honestly pretty cool, in his opinion. I have no idea. I know nothing of it. I'm sorry. Oh, this person's into trains too. Orient Express. How about Poirot on BBC? David Sucret. Wait a minute, hold on. I think we're talking about trains. Would love to ride the Orient Express, Paris to Istanbul, the classic one. Any of them, but that would be neat. I'd love to do that. I love the new Orient Express, Murder on the Orient Express movie. The guy that played Poirot was incredible. Oh, Justin, any thoughts on Teslas? I get they are fast, but they look boring. I also feel like I am the subject of an experiment commuting around sleeping drivers. Actually, we thought about buying a used Tesla S. It was at a Lexus dealer or something, had low miles, a really good deal. And my wife wanted a car. And I'm like, this is the car. We're buying this. Because it was great to drive. It was perfectly designed to get in and out of it. There was no console, so my wife could put her purse there. I know that sounds crazy, but for a woman, it's, you don't get a car somewhere to put your purse. It's important. And the hatch worked great. I thought it looked good enough, and it was just insanely user friendly. But my wife, I swear to you, she said, she's like, it's boring. It's like an appliance. She's like, I want something with more soul. And the way she got her Maserati Gran Turismo. And so Teslas are okay, but they're appliances. So they're nice enough to be interesting enough, but I don't think there's something I would ever fall in love with. Not going to have a romance with, not want to keep forever. So that's just kind of the way I feel there. What bike would you recommend for a fast bike to restore and enjoy? I'm trying to get into old bikes. Depends on what you define as old. I like 90s Ducatis, kind of into that. Those are cool. I like things that are spunky. I kind of like late 80s, early 90s Japanese cylinders, like a Yamaha FZR. I still want my old doggone 1989 red, white, and blue Yamaha FZR back. I love that year and that color with the 2 round headlights. And about what we think about the situations happening in the Middle East, we are deciding to not get involved in the conflicts because that's just will lead to more conflict that no one will benefit from. That's smart. That's smart from Saudi Arabia. Yeah. To this gentleman in Saudi Arabia, yeah, I wanted to come visit this winter, and I didn't push the throttle enough to plan that trip around Saudi Arabia on the motorcycle I wanted to do. And I have to admit, right now, I kind of don't mind as much that I didn't, because I would worry slightly more as an American banging around Saudi Arabia on a motorcycle, literally like right now, especially going up north toward Jordan and whatnot. I don't know if that would. I don't know how that would be. I think it would be fine, but I don't know. Maybe we'll let the. Hopefully, the world will chill out a little bit. Okay. Anyway. I will be on a Canadian ship, the St. Lawrence II, sailing in the Atlantic, Canada, and possibly to France. Ooh, that's cool. How long is the St. Lawrence? And is it a clipper? Is it a schooner? What is it? Okay. What do you think about SCCA club type racing? Seems like local stuff is more exciting and real than the craft of IndyCar, NASCAR, etc. You are absolutely right. I'm not going to go on it long, but IndyCar, NASCAR, IMSA, Formula One, I hate it all. It's all garbage. It's controlled by a few people that gets absurd money out of corporations. Formula One is a theater. It's not even a sport. Otherwise, the thing with Andretti wouldn't be a problem. So I don't care anymore. I think I'm going to try to watch MotoGP racing. I feel like that's still racing. I just want to forget that IMSA, IndyCar, NASCAR, and Formula One exist. I think it's all garbage nowadays. So yeah, I'd rather go watch SCCA club racing or the Valve. I don't think it's called Valvoline runoffs anymore, but the runoffs. I'd rather go watch that than any of those modern racing. They just suck. I don't want to watch it anymore at all. I got into it on Instagram a minute ago with a guy's a professional racing driver. Not a lot, but he wrote something about people like, is what you do dangerous? And I just wrote, I'm like, please, modern racing isn't dangerous. I said, what did I even say? And he wrote back, he's like, how many big wrecks have you been in? And I'm like, 0, because I own my own cars. I don't get to write off rich guys' cars like you. And I looked at it, I'm like, I've been on dates more dangerous than modern racing. I'm like, go race Isle of Man and then we'll talk. In fact, I thought about it. I'm like, vintage racing is more dangerous than modern racing. He wants to pretend he's cool. I'm not going to get enough. My grandfather said, never get in a pissing match with a skunk. They're all skunks. Okay, I need to speed up here. I like cabbage. What about cabbage? I don't know. When will you be installing the 1,500 horsepower twin turbo kit on the Murcielago? DDEKC, LOL. When Robert Downey Jr. tells me in blackface to go full retard, and then I'll do it. And even then I won't, because I'm not stupid. That's funny. Casey, have you and Alice discussed the Power Wheels bill? We have not discussed it. She's going to... I've got a Devon Jr. body being made to build a go-kart for her in seafoam green. Mike writes, thanks for keeping me company as I eat and get ready for work. Off to the coal mines, he says. And what's happening in the U.S.? We honestly think that it's disappointing. Too much corruption in the government and too divided and too many clowns in Congress and in charge. You are absolutely correct in Saudi Arabia. I think exactly the same way because I'm not completely programmed by propaganda. Like about 30% of our population is insane, completely insane and controlled right now, and it's an onslaught of. We'll talk later. Anyway, okay, Casey, I found you from your Left Lane Losers video. Love the automotive and motorcycle content. Thank you for everything you were doing, Michael. Thank you. I may do more motorcycle content. I don't know. We'll see. It depends on what I'm doing next year. Okay. Best series to watch is the MX-5 series. I kind of agree, but I'm over it because they're slow. Like I drove one. It was cool, but it's a bunch of people. The racing is insane and they write them off. But like it feels like watching an action movie, a modern one, where the action sequences are way too long and not relevant to the plot line. They're not risking anything. So it's like this high speed, perfect dodge and bang up cars, and that's not the kind of racing I like. I like racing. If Formula One was the early '70s, where one guy screws up, he's probably dead. So there's a lot at stake. So it's a high speed, daring, dancing chess game. It's just what you like. But it's fun to watch here and there. It's mostly just the shorts that are fun to watch. All right. Oh, she is a 12 to 13-meter long brigantine. Oh, that's not even that big. Really? The ship you're gonna go to, you say France in the Atlantic, is only like a 30-footer? I'll be darned. Okay. All right. Well, cool. All right. Okay, guys, let's talk about some stuff. So, uh, what time is it? 3 o'clock, huh? Try to go soon. Where do I even begin? So I got the shop completely cleaned up. Spent like 3 weeks doing that. It was a total mess, getting rid of stuff, and that did my heart a world of good to be actually able to work and want to work, because things can be organized and have tools and light and things you need to do a good job. So I'm banging through doing the Viper. So the Viper track build, the reason I did that was not because I specifically wanted to. It was because I was doing the sweepstakes for Genius Garage, trying to raise money. And that was a complete disaster, total letdown. The sweepstakes is no different than any other. And I got lied to with how the money was. So they lured me in to do it. And by the time I was stuck, we were stuck. It failed. It didn't reach enough money to give away the car. There is a winner who won money. He's already been paid. Hope he's got the check by now. I should actually probably text him. Or I just check the bank account. But it sucks. It sucks. It totally sucks. I just hate it. I hate the sweepstakes. And that blew the wind out of just all the wind that came out of my sales relating to Genius Garage, because I was trying to find ways to help support that charity, and there just aren't any. You need to become wealthy and have your own foundation if you want to create a charity or a nonprofit or an educational program. That's all there is to it. So that really sucked. But the reason I was doing my Viper build was that I hoped that would get good views. Obviously for my channel, it'd be fun or whatever. But then that I could bring exposure to the sweepstakes to raise money for Genius Garage. And it didn't work. So when I started doing Genius Garage this summer with the Lotus Exosphere and the Daytona prototype, then I had no time to work on the Viper, and it stagnated for 6 months. But I'm back on it, so that feels really good. This person writes, as someone who recently bought your first house, do you have any tips for a car guy who's in the middle of his first home search? Do you have any tips for a car guy? It depends on how crafty you are, sir. The house I'm in here, my wife, when we pulled in the parking lot, by the way, look at the fire coming out of that Spitfire. How cool is that? Anyway, my wife didn't even get out of the car to look at it because it looked so crappy. And it was hard finding a house that we thought we could afford. I'm like, how much is this? I'm like, what is it? And I looked at it and I go, it needs a lot of work, but I can do all this. And so that was the thought. You have to balance what can you reasonably afford. So do you get one that's ready to go and you work hard to make your money to do it? Or do you get one that's cheaper that you can fix up? And can you do that? And be honest with yourself. The other thing is, if, America gets into hard times and there's no jobs, and you got an expensive house, you could be in trouble. Whereas, if you're not working as much, then you can take that time and work on your house and make it nicer, kind of like build value and equity there. So that's a way to look at it. That's a way to look at things, guys. And that's one way, just kind of a mindset that's always helped me truck through in life is, maybe you're not making the income you want at the time being as much, but if you can work with your hands to create value in your own world with something you're building or restoring your house or whatever, well, then that means something. So like if you're doing a job on your house that would cost $10,000 in labor, well, you're effectively working, so just think about stuff like that, guys. Oh, this is nice. So this gentleman from Saudi Arabia writes, I understand your concern, but as much as what's happening in the Mideast, I can assure you that being an American here, you are in no way in danger or anything, not so much about in Jordan or Iraq. Fair enough. Well, I genuinely want to come visit Saudi Arabia. I think it's a fascinating kingdom. Should I call it a kingdom or country? Because it's the kingdom of Saudi Arabia, right? I'm not sure. What's the proper thing for me to say? Okay. Gagliardi design Boxsters. Are you a fan of their cars? I think they're cool looking cars. I think I've seen them. Are they the ones that make the Boxsters kind of look like supercars? They're crazy. To see that. Somebody writes there was just an ad. Oh, that's weird. I didn't know that would pop into the live feed. I figured that would be later. Okay. All right. So that was the thing with the Viper build and why it came to be. But, here's the other thing, guys. So the Viper build, I tell you what, man, I just felt really beat up in the last 2 years. Honestly, in a lot of ways, I feel like I wasted the last 2 years chasing professional racing, which never panned out. The federal politic things not panning out or didn't become something. And just trying to do big things and trying to do things with other people, because if you want to do anything big, you have to do it with other people. But my God, I don't know if it's the time we live in or just the greed or protectiveness of people or what, but it is so hard to find anybody to work together, do anything big with. And the unbridled arrogance of people that have done something with their lives is difficult. So that's been a huge disappointment. And it's been hard for me to bounce back from. Because I feel as though I'm literally never going to have anybody to work with, and there's never going to be anything big I can get to go do. I don't plug in anywhere in the world, and all the talents and abilities I have are useless. Like, what am I going to do? And so I look around like, well, what the hell can I do with my own resources to build? And that's kind of disappointing, because I talked about YouTube just being living in a fishbowl and dancing for the algorithm. Well, I don't want to get stuck living in a fishbowl because I can't go any farther, and there's nowhere for you to plug in or do anything, or anybody to work with or do anything bigger. So where I found some happiness, honestly, was buying that ratty old go kart that was the same as I had when I was a kid and restoring it. That really felt good, you know. Kind of bring your thoughts back to what you enjoyed when you're young. And the Viper 2, I really wasn't enjoying working on it because it was kind of just a burden. With the sweepstakes not doing well and whatnot, I wasn't really getting paid to do it. And I didn't need to be done. It didn't make my life any different. But now the shop's cleaned up and working on it. Viper's meant a lot to me for, I don't know, like 15 years. So there's a certain catharticness of fixing it up and making it really nice, kind of bringing back those memories. It kind of feels like you're fixing up yourself. So getting that done makes me feel kind of more balanced. And then looking forward to hitting the Omega car, maybe doing the King's Air. We'll see. And we'll see what's next. But honestly, probably I'm just kind of going to be back to where I was a few years ago on YouTube and doing builds on there. And then we'll see what else I do. But just the biggest disappointment is, I hate being capable of doing much bigger things and having no outlet to do it. I hate it. So anyway, okay. Hey, see you later, Liam. Have any of the students done Formula SAE? Yeah, I've had students that have done Formula SAE. Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is a formal way to say it. Most even here just call it Saudi or Saudi Arabia. Okay, cool. I'll say it like that. Okay, I usually say Saudi or Saudi Arabia, but in reference to it, I say the kingdom because that's what it is. Okay. This person writes, I was unemployed last fall, used my time to improve my office and completely organize my garage. It ended up being an opportunity because I actually had time to do these projects. Definitely. Oh, in Nebraska, it's negative 35 degrees. Seriously? Like actual or wind chill? I want to know because that's wicked. I'm at work making corn syrup for Coca-Cola. This is my live stream I've tuned into. Nice. I'm glad we could hang. Is Casey's 80s garage coming back? I don't know. I mean, if I'm doing an 80s thing, it is. Like, I've got a couple of 80s cars there. Both the Ferraris are, well, one Ferrari is. The other one's technically from the 70s, although they made them in the 80s. I guess not in the sense of just doing all kinds of zanies 80s stuff. But if you want me to kind of bring that shtick back up, I will. It's fun. That was the other thing about YouTube, you guys. I kind of didn't I hope this doesn't sound funny, but I don't want to just play with certain cars on YouTube because it's good for YouTube. I want to play with the cars that I like, and I hope you guys like them on YouTube. Because if I'm going to have cars, I really want to do the ones that I've always wanted that work with my life. So that's kind of that. Laughs and sunny 65 degrees from a guy named Kenny. Wind chill, -8 actual. That's still cold, dude. That's cold enough to kill you. Any polo photos? Where did you play? I used to play at the Brindle Mansion east of Columbus. I don't know. Do I have any photos? Maybe on my phone. I'll show you in a second. Are you following the Dakar Rally? Nope. I don't follow anything. Oh, no way. Actually, when I told you guys, the guy, that was nice of him, though. The driver that I wrote back on the Instagram and I said, modern racing's not dangerous. He writes, did I do me privately and said I do anything to piss you off? No, he did not. He's perfectly nice. Although I'm so fucking tired of modern racing and the whole circus that it is, which has nothing to do with him. Oh, polo photo. I'm sorry. I got distracted. God, I fucking hate modern racing so much. I just want to. By the way, how many of you all just want to punch modern Formula One cars in their poncy little twat faces? God, they are insufferable children. Okay. I was into Kimi Räikkönen way back in the day, but by the time Kimi Räikkönen was like the oldest guy there, I was like, oh my God, I like Kimi because he's the only one that like is his own man still. Now they're all just polished, silly. Is there not one polo photo in here? I don't know. There's a couple of photos at a polo match. Where's one of me playing? I don't know. I don't know if you guys all want to wait for this. Here's one on my phone of just walking the polo horse off the field years ago. It's a great sport. It's an old war sport. Basically, polo was cool. I realized one day practicing that why it's such a good war sport is that all you'd have to do is just take a polo mallet out of a guy's hand and put a sword in it, and you'd be ready to go. Anyway, more and more people here in Saudi Arabia are turning towards Chinese cars like Havals and Shangans and Geelys because the American car maker decided to stop making. What's your opinion on this? Whoa. Which American car maker decided to stop making what? I know you guys are into the American cars. I saw you guys have a bunch of like 70s trucks and cars and stuff over there, your Cars and Coffee. That's interesting. So what's up with the Saudi Arabia and Chinese? Like you guys have a pretty good relationship, I guess. So you're getting their cars and things over in Saudi Arabia. I think that's interesting. What is my opinion on a Scion XB? I apologize, but I don't have one because I have no experience with it. Oh, so are you winding down Genius Garage and shifting toward a more traditional career path? Great question. I'm only winding down Genius Garage in the sense that I can't do the big programs where I've got like half a dozen or more students that are there full time. I can't do it because I am unable to do anything for me to forward my own life, career, or make a living. Like full time, it's just these students. And it's effing brutal. And what happens is it's actually worse than that. Like it costs me money to not get paid to teach. It's brutal. So what I'm going to do, Genius Garage is still around. Obviously, I put a decade of work and my wife and everybody to make that educational institution and the stuff being around to do it. So I'm just going to mentor, one or two or students at a time throughout the year on really cool big projects. Find people that are bright and driven that can go somewhere and help them go somewhere. Like Aiden, he's brilliant. The IndyCar project, he's doing a great job. And I cannot wait to help him get an amazing engineering program. It's really rewarding, and it works a lot better because then I can work on my own stuff and help him. Or there's other students. Somebody want to do something with the mega car, or if they want to be in motorsports, they would do something with the Lotus F1 car. Well, then we can do that. So, and that suits life a lot better. So I'm just going to be a little more chill. But it's funny, we might still be able to affect the same amount of students, just in a little bit of different structure. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. Because the other thing is, there's no real way to fund a nonprofit unless you're a rich guy, other than the goodness of your all's hearts. And so I if I'm going to be stuck basically paying for everything for the most part, then it's just got to be more chill. I can't ruin my own life. Sorry. Okay. Do you still have the Alpha GTV6? No, I don't. I sold it. I like those cars a lot, but I don't have any more. Sorry. I do. It didn't make the cut to keep around, so to speak. Modern F1 car is boring. Bring back the old high revving cars, much more entertaining. I agree. Actually, I have an idea. Did you guys notice that I happened upon a Ferrari V8 race engine from IMSA GTP? Yeah, it's got slide throttles. It's amazing. It's basically the same specs as a Cosworth DFB. And I've been thinking, I did that video of how modern racing sucks. And then I said, instead of going IndyCar racing or IMSA and just wasting millions of dollars there with somebody's money, just get a vintage Formula One car and go to the best tracks in Europe and do that. It's a much nicer thing to do in life. And I thought about it, I'm like, why don't I just build a vintage F1 car? Use the Ferrari motor. It's 3 liters. It's the same technology it would have been on the 70s. I could just build a vintage F1 car. Like if I got a Formula 5000 roller, Formula 5000, and the chassis back then are really no different than what Formula One was. They got 15-inch wheels instead of 13. That's about it. And so I'm thinking about just building a vintage F1 car. And running it with the Ferrari motor. I mean, it won't be a specific replica on one back then, but basically it's like they'll let me vintage race it. So they won't let me race in the Masters because it's not like a history vintage F1 car probably, but that's okay. In America, I'll just run it in, whatever the 70s group is. They'll run it in Formula 5000 because it's less displacement. So they're not going to be mad. I'll have a horsepower disadvantage. It'll be a little lighter, and I'll still be out there in the show. So I think that's good fun. I'm thinking about using the old Ferrari motor to build an F1 car. You guys be in like an actual race car? Would you guys be into that? Kimmy's interviews were the last good things in F1. I agree. Keep on trucking, Casey. Mordecai, what's up? I remember you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's nice to have you back. It's nice seeing you guys. I remember you there. It's really nice. Ever work on an Oldsmobile motor? I don't think so. Still hoping to come out and do an interview type thing with you sometime with my other automotive channel talk. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do that, man. Black Sheep video. Random rant. I have a 24-year-old car. Everyone says get a new one, but I hate these key fobs and screen dashboards. Just give me an analog dash and a normal key. Minimal electronic malarkey. Hey, man, I agree with you. My wife and I both daily drive like 22-year-old BMWs. They're in great condition, less than 100,000 miles. We keep them perfect. But that was a sweet spot for cars. Cheap to maintain. Nice cars. The thing with China and Saudi Arabia are developing more and more due to common interests, like mainly being infrastructure and business and industries. We have the money and they have the knowledge. That's cool. I should move to Saudi Arabia. I can do stuff. Let's do something cool, maybe. Maybe that's what I should do. Do you guys have as much psychotic propaganda trying to brainwash your entire people as we do in the United States? Because I'm really getting tired of that. Are there any modern road cars that pique your interest? No. Like brand new cars? No. Nope. Wait, there's one. The De Tomaso. Is it like P74? I forget what they call it. That new thing that looks like a Ferrari from the 60s. Oh my God. It's got a Ferrari motor in it. Sounds unbelievable. Oh, if I won the lottery, I would be buying one. Okay. How long should it take to learn manual and be able to drive it anywhere in any situation? How long does it usually take? Okay. I'm going to break this anywhere, any situation thing down to the last time I taught a kid to drive manual. He's pretty smart. I taught him in the parking lot like 3 times. And we drove through the countryside 2 or 3 times. And then he drove it home through the countryside and learned on his own. That's not anywhere in any situation. But if you're reasonably mechanically adept and have somebody who's not a dingbat that can coach you without being all up in your business, you should be half decent enough to start doing something sooner than later. But you're going to have to be smart to not put yourself in a bad situation. while you're learning. That's kind of the biggest thing to it. Casey, what's the sweet spot cheap Ferrari you'd recommend? That depends on if you can work on the car or not. There are Mondials and 308s in the 40s range that are good cars, but you need to be mechanically sympathetic to be able to work on it. The timing belt service is still kind of expensive. And you need to treat it like what it is, an old handmade vehicle. People say Mondials are unreliable. They're idiots who have never owned one and know nothing about Ferraris, because a Mondial has the exact same drivetrain as all 308s, 348s, 328s, and the same wiring and all that. It was their higher end car. The only reason some of those are unreliable is people didn't think the Mondial was as sexy, so they didn't take as good care of them. But idiot writers that have never done anything with their life, they like to spat out their stupid opinions. Oh, the P72 is the De Tomaso. New cars are garbage to me. My old CVPA was near everything a car should be. Okay. Where's the Lycan now? Is it being tracked or anything, or just sat in the garage? I don't know, man. It went to the West Coast. And I've not heard about it or from the guy since then. Although I have heard that Jeff Bezos owns a Lycan. And I don't know if this is true, but allegedly Vin Diesel owns one too. So for the donut media guys and all those morons that were saying they didn't exist, there are some Lycans actually out there. Especially Bezos has one. And that goes with some of the story. Although that's fascinating. Let me think about this. I seem to remember the CEO of W Motors telling me that one was in the United States only for a short time. I don't think there's one in the States. So I wonder where I don't know if the Diesel thing's true. And if that's the case, I wonder where Bezos keeps his. Probably not the States. Alfa Romeo 4C. What's your opinion on it? Considering getting that. Oh, the brand new one that's mid-engined. No, that's Alpha. Wait. Oh, the Alpha 4C that's got the carbon tub that's kind of like a Lotus Elise or Exige. They're cool. They look kind of goofy, but they're cool. Lotus Evora or a newer Boxster. I think Evoras kind of look dumb. Boxsters, they're okay. Porsche 911. The 911's an everyday car, like all 4 seasons, no big deal. Just do that. If you want something sexy that's really fascinating, you're gonna have to get the Alpha or the Lotus. I'd probably get the Alpha because I'm a weirdo. But the best all-around car there is probably the 911. You aim an automatic transmission car. You drive a manual transmission. Yeah, you're right. How much work and money is it to get my truck license at Mid-Ohio? Oh, track license. I'd love to do an MGA with a Cosworth Vega engine and find a class to go around the circuit. That's not that hard to do, man. I didn't mind way back when. And for vintage racing, okay, I'll tell you guys the truth. Racing licenses are like way easier to get than you guys think. And once you have one and have done enough stuff, the other ones will just give you licenses. So you're gonna laugh at me, even driving the F1 car and like Indy cars and stuff like that. I worked my way up to it. I just took the 2-day high performance school at Mid Ohio in like 2004 or 2004, and that was enough for me with the SVRA to get my vintage racing license. I don't remember how much that cost. It wasn't that much money, but and if you want to race a vintage car like your MGA vintage, just look up and see what the VSCDA, or SVRA or HSR requires, and then just go out and do what suits you best. That gives you the best value, but don't just be a cheapo like me and try to skirt the system. Let's make sure you're actually good to race, because I raced karts and stuff before that. But you can do it reasonably inexpensively. Oh, have no fear. The Dougster from Dougster's Wolverine Garage is here. I don't know what that means, but I think it's a funny name. Different kind of question here, Casey. But where do you buy your clothing? Your style is cool. Just genuinely curious. Where do I? Okay, so this sweater I bought in Amsterdam at Wham Denim, which is an Italian company. They last great and they're warm. And I wore this when I went sailing on the Stad Amsterdam, the clipper ship. And the hat, I don't remember where the heck I bought this thing. I don't remember where I bought it. I'm wearing this because it's cold, and I don't know. I'm a white guy at home, so I appreciate it. But Wham Denim, WAM Denim. You can buy it in the States. I don't know if there's any stores in the States, but they fit me. And clothes in the Netherlands fit me perfectly because I'm built like a Dutch person. Like we're tall and skinny, have slightly longer arms per ratio than Americans that are like shorter, fatter, and have shorter appendages. Also, I don't know about you guys, but I'm coming to a realization that America is screwed. Like not just the propaganda, but like our food is so insanely unhealthy, and nobody cares about physical fitness. They just cry about fat shaming and stuff. It's insane. It's insane. This entire country is upside down from when I was a kid in the '80s. Absolutely upside down. It's maniacal. Okay. Thoughts on Doug Tabbett? Well, I said I was going to be honest. I'll just say this. He's close by. He's probably a fun guy to hang out with. And we like some of the same stuff. But I decided a long time ago it was probably best if Doug Tabbett and I never mix. And the reason being is I think he has a huge ego. And I think he's the kind of person that if anybody is around that threatens his ego, he's going to find a way to act cool and pretend he's cool somewhere else. And I think that's annoying. And I don't care whether it's a YouTuber or billionaire. I'm going to call you out for being a shithead if you're being a shithead. And my personality and his personality are not going to mix. So I'm sure he's a fun guy, and I bet he runs a pretty good business, but we probably shouldn't mix. Would you be interested in doing a hill climb race in Saudi Arabia and some autocrosses race here? It's part of the Toyota AJL Championship. That'd be awesome. I'd be super into doing that. That'd be awesome. I'd be all for any adventures, honestly. I really genuinely think, Saudi Arabia is a fascinating place. I do. Okay. Bezos probably uses it to do Home Depot runs. That's funny. I have a feeling where Bezos lives, there's no Home Depots close by. 4C is a gimmick on wheels, carbon tub maintenance, and while it has no power steering, it has no steering feel either. Yeah, I don't know. Can you collab with Cletus McFarland? I don't think he'll collab with me. I don't think I have a big enough channel. And look at the way I dress. I don't think I meet Cletus McFarland's demographics well enough. I'd like to, but I don't. And the other thing, he's got an oval, and that's not the kind of car stuff I do. So I don't know what we would do, Okay. Your friend met Doug, say he's a wonderful guy. Yeah, Doug's probably a lot of fun. I just think he'd try to be way too competitive with me. And I just don't think he and I should mix. Actually, I've been told flat out Doug Tabbett hates me, which pisses me off because I've never met him. And that was before I told him to fuck off. Because he would call me or text me a couple of times to try to help him find a car in my hometown and then ask me to make a video wishing his buddy a happy birthday. Yet I'm told he hates my guts. So fuck him. I don't care. Fuzi pocket watches. Tour of your watch collection. I used to have a Fuzi, a Verge Fuzi movement from about 1690 to 1690 to about 1710 in London. It was made by Bing. It was a Champlavet face with a 3-tiered crystal and the tortoise shell over silver case. It was 3 case. Still had the watchmaker certificate. That was years ago that I had that. My watch collection is not that exciting. More modern stuff, mostly automatic. Nothing too crazy. But thanks for your interest. Yes, man, everything is ruined. I just want to leave and go to Europe somewhere. I'm 31. I feel like we're not going anywhere pleasant. Well, I will tell you this, sir. I heard somebody say that if you get 30% of the population to be radicalized and propaganda freaks trying to ruin everything, it only takes 5% of the population to stand up for good values to push it back. So let's be that 5%. And let's take back the country. How about that? I'd love to go to Europe too. Love it, love it, love it. But I think Europe's going to be in big trouble too. In fact, if I was wealthy, I think I would go spend most of my time in Europe. I just would. Just new people to meet, new adventures, new cultures to learn. I just would enjoy that. I hope you guys don't think less of me for that, but I think it'd be fun. I've been around the United States a lot. It's time for some fun, new stuff. Have you seen the Rungi Veleno? It's a Dodge Vapor with a hand-built aluminum body made to look like a vintage race car. I have. I think he's a cool guy. It's Chris, right? Christopher Rungi. Yeah, he's very talented. I don't think we've talked before, but he's very talented. Here's the thing I got to tell you that I couldn't do what he does. I don't mean that I couldn't. He's more talented than me, coach building aluminum. Surely, obviously, he is. I'm just dabbling in it at this point. But what I mean to say is, I hate building cars for somebody else because you put all of your soul and love into creating something, and then some guy gets to just buy it from you for money. Is it making you wealthy that you can have the things of your dreams? And if it's not, then you're literally just selling parts of your soul away. I don't want to do it. That's why I started only building cars for myself. I fucking hate building cars or maintaining race cars for wealthy clients because I remember the wealthy guys in the past. I'm like, why the hell am I putting all my love and talent into doing this race car for this wealthy guy and taking all the liability and my whole life to do this, to go watch him do something that I'm better at? I would rather not get paid and teach people Genius Crush. So that's what I did. I guess I'm too much of an artist. I don't want to do that. I don't like letting that stuff go. Your eco car would be far more efficient if it was set up as a locomotive diesel generator plus electric motor. No, it wouldn't at all. That's a terrible idea. And that's exactly why hybrid cars are a joke. The whole point of my Omega car was to make an inexpensive, reliable car that would be better in general. It needs to be simple. What you're suggesting makes things complex. Simple is always better. So I appreciate you saying that, but you're wrong because I'm considering the entire manufacturing process, the entire process of all the materials, the whole cradle to grave circle crap that you talk about in industrial design, all the things most people don't think about. So if you're only thinking about miles per gallon on the highway and something, you're not considering the rest of the world at all. Because why worry about all those little black kids in the cobalt mines in the Congo getting lithium for the Chinese when Hunter Biden sits on the funding arm of the Chinese Communist Party? It is, look it up. Like, not in my backyard while I freaking eat my avocados on the Malibu pier with my blue hair and talk to you about my pronouns. There, that's how I feel about stuff. Okay. Calm down, Casey. I have opinions. I got kind of annoyed about the whole Doug Tabbett thing. I don't want to be around all these damn YouTube. YouTube is such a mind F. And I'm distancing myself from most YouTubers. On that one video, I talked positively. I like Wesley Keegan. He's really cool. He did that Porsche cart. There are a few other channels. Ben Beams, you guys should look him up. He built his own GT40 and his own Lotus 38 60s Indy car. Made his own aluminum monocoques. Doesn't get very many views. Ben Beams, Beames. Look it up. Really cool. Okay, I gotta stop ranting. I'll be coming through Ohio sometime in the spring. I'll connect with you on Instagram and set up a time that works for you, as I know you are insanely busy. Yeah, hit me up then. We'll see what happens. Does the clutch having a high biting point make it harder to smoothly take off from a stop? No, it doesn't. The only thing that may make it harder is how much of the movement is the part where it slips the clutch. If like this is the full travel of the clutch from the top to the floor, and then this much of it is slipping the clutch from when it starts to slip to when it's fully engaged, that's theoretically easier than if it's like 1 millimeter of travel to do all your slipping and resolution in. That ends up being like a race car, and that's why race cars are difficult to get out of pits. Oh, trying to drive manual in India. It's crazy here. Anyone can cut you off from any direction. You never know when you have to stop or overtake or start driving 15 grades ago. Yeah, wild. Imagine it's wild driving in India. Would you be interested in making a high-performance V8 steam engine car that looks like a McLaren? High-performance V8 steam engine car looks like a McLaren. I would be interested in doing steam-powered things. I don't care if it looks like a McLaren or not. I think most McLarens are actually kind of dopey looking, and the company's kind of jacked. Be honest, Casey. You wish you were Damon Fryer. Don't lie. Actually, I don't know which one that is from DDE. Is he the moron with daddy issues, the shaved head that used to pound cough syrup with vehicle versions? Or is he the little second in command kind of bitch that looks like a rat? Which one is Damon Fryer? I don't care. These guys are fools. I still really want to know what the body structure of the Omega is made from. Yeah, you and everybody else. Why don't you switch to X? Just I haven't put the effort in yet. This is where I got something going on. If I get serious about doing some other things, I'll be on other platforms, including Elon's for sure. Saline S7, aka American's Forgotten Supercar. What do you think about it? Nobody ever seems to talk about one. I'd love to have one. They look good. They can be a great car all around, but you're right, it's totally forgotten. I'd love to have one. Yep. Love watching Ben Beams. Found him a few months ago. Great videos. Yep. He's a good guy. Actually, I'm trying to get Hoosier to sponsor him with tires. I thought that would be nice. EVs will fall and hard. We will reach a point where the materials to build one is going to be a huge loss, and there will be too much waste of old batteries that can't be recycled. I agree. Did the K series versus Ferrari engine collaboration ever get any further, or did it fall through? It fell through. Love your videos. Okay, so that's something worth bringing up. So StanceWorks, I can't remember the guy's name. What's his name? The StanceWorks guy with the yellow Ferrari 308 with the K series. Anyway, so this person writes my roasts are spot on. Yeah. You got anybody else who want me to roast? Anyway, he's a good guy and he's talented, and I admired what he did. I sort of ancillarily paid attention or noticed it through the years that he was building that car. But there's a couple of things that like hit a discord with me. And the thing about it is, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, taking a perfectly good Ferrari and getting rid of the motor and putting a K series motor in it is a fucking stupid idea in the real world, because you're taking something that's 3 liters of displacement and a V8 to put in 2 liters of displacement and 4 cylinders and made by computers to be efficient. And in many ways, the engine is more efficient and better designed than the Ferrari engine in some ways, but it's basically made of glass. You're going to blow it up. If you really wanted to make a lot of power, forced induction, keep the Ferrari motor and build it. And you can say it's cheaper, sure, but you've devalued the car. And it's lighter weight, sure, but so is the Briggs & Stratton motor. Like, if you really wanted to go fast with a Ferrari 308, you should put a real transaxle in it and shove the NASCAR motor in it. There's no replacement for displacement, and it did exactly what I figured it would do, blow up. And so it kind of annoyed me because, let's be honest, that whole thing was for clickbait. It was a whole thing that's kind of a good idea for the tuners that would be neat to get in with the YouTube scene, and it was that. And I admired the build, though. And so I was going to say, how about a challenge? I'll take the Ferrari motor you threw away and build a car for less money than yours, and we have a challenge. And he said, yeah. And then great. So I announced it, and he goes, can't wait to see what you do to the 308. And I say, hold on. I just said I would build a car. I didn't say I'd use the 308. And then he flipped out and said I have to use the 308. Then he told me I had to build a car with a stock motor. And that pissed me off. I'm like, you want me to compete with a stock 308 motor that makes between 200 and 250 horsepower against yours? That's not even a competition. You're just being an ass. And then he messaged me privately and said, I didn't mean stock like stock. I just meant you had to use the same one. I'm like, well, why don't you get the verbiage right before it's on public? And I told him I built a car that's closed cockpit, not an open wheel car, that has 2 doors, using a naturally aspirated Ferrari V8 from that time period. And let's compete, because I wanted to show to everybody that you can build a proper car in a Ferrari and something better for less money and go fast, and you don't have to do these silly YouTube things. But he wouldn't go for it. And he'd only do it if I use a 308 and the 308 motor. There's no point. That car already exists. It's a 288 GTO or an F40. I don't feel like building a 288 GTO or an F40. And also the bodywork's really expensive. I also don't feel like taking a perfectly good 308, spending a bunch of money and time on it just to go race against him in his K-Series car that'll blow up. Like, if we're going to race in a series, fine, but I'm not going to do that. Like, it's not about you, dude. I'm not out here just to challenge you. I don't care. Like, I wanted to show people, like, together we could do something creative, and I could take the Ferrari motor you threw away to show it's actually an amazing motor, and then I could build that naturally aspirated. I could build my own car way cheaper than yours and beat you. But you want to go for it. So it's not going to happen. So I got my Ferrari motor, my naturally aspirated motor, and I'm thinking about what I want to build. But on the plus side, it's kind of gave me a gift, because if he doesn't want to play ball like that, then I can just build whatever I want and live my dreams that hopefully you guys will enjoy if I can afford the time or money to build something. So that's all. Roast the Stradman. I can't, man. Like I don't have that much energy. I would need to be on like meth and coke. It's amazing, man. The energy he has to keep up to do that. I frankly feel bad for him. I would have to check into a mental institution if I had to play that role for the rest of my life. It's so over the top. It's truly just so over the top. I couldn't do it. I can't even watch his videos. Like it's deranged. Like I can't do it. I'm not saying he's not a nice guy, but like, oh my God. Oh, scary. That is a scary fishbowl he lives in. Also, it's way better to make fuel efficient cars and develop better environmentally friendly fuel, and hybrids aren't a problem. And let's go back to work on steam engines. Might find some. Yeah, I agree with our Saudi friend here. Any tips on shifting dog box transmission? Yeah. Quick, deliberate, crisp. Don't. It's kind of like this. If you ever rode BMX bikes, you have to clear the jump. So you got to just let it fly and go for it and do it right. Like if you let it fly and go for it, you don't do it right, you're going to crash, right? It's not going to be a good shift. Or you're going to crash your bicycle. But you got to let it fly and go for it, not be afraid. Don't be afraid, because if you're afraid, you're going to case it on the landing, right? Same thing with the dog box, like jumping a BMX bike or motorcycle. Hi. Boo-boo. You want to come back and be on video? You with your wiggly feet? I'm going to check out a lot of 50s, 60s Rolls-Royce cars and VA. Do you want to tag along? Also, there's a way to get a 500 horsepower out of an RR4. I don't know what engine that is. Rolls are cools. I don't have time to tag along, but thank you for the offer. Wait, where's the girls? Hi, girls. Boo-boo, say hi to everybody. You, silly. You got smiles? You got smiles for them? Okay. Casey would be the best guest on Smoking Tire podcast, dropping truth bombs on their audience. That's a good idea. I met Matt at the Velocity Invitational Press Day kind of thing, and he invited me. I should do that because Matt has 0 Fs given. Yeah. Maybe I should do that. I might reach out to him. But I have to go to LA to do it. So, California. I haven't been to California in a while. I used to go there now and then and like it. Now I think San Andreas should split and let it fall in the ocean. Sorry, guys. My parent-in-laws are there. Maybe they can stay. But California is ruining America. What are you doing in there, boo-boo? What are you doing in there? You're silly. I see you. I see you. Your fingernails on that glass sound terrible. We kind of look like we're in the 30s now with my hat on. All right. Here, you want to podcast like or talk to people like this, boo-boo? You're silly. Could you speak more about building versus buying process for owning and racing a Formula B vintage race car, perhaps post-Aero? How do you feel about the smaller scale vintage race car as an art piece? Well, if they're pretty, they're great art pieces. You're silly. You're funny. What are you doing? Okay, so Formula Bs are cool. I like them a lot, but Brabhams and stuff and Chevrons, people want like 80 grand for really nice ones, which is too much money. I mean, 40 or 50 grand for an exceptionally nicely prepared one is what you might have to get into. I've got less than 30 in mine, and I'm lucky, but I got to work on it a little bit. I think it's actually pretty. I saw a really good deal on one a while back. I think it only went for 20 grand. It went so cheap. But I already had one. It was, you're silly. You're silly sticking out your tongue. Yo, Bobo, what are you doing in there? You got funny reflections. Formula Bs are cool. Formula Fords are, I don't know if they're just as cool. They don't make as much power as a Formula B, and they have less tire. Formula Bs look more like an F1 car, so I like them. Hi, you're silly. Thank you for saying she's adorable. Would you prefer an aluminum? She loves to come out in the garage and play in the old Buick, don't you? Should we go in the Buick? Yeah, we can do that. Is it too dark in here for this camera?
It's not hard.
Okay. Well, it is 1931.
Alice, can you wiggle?
Would you prefer an aluminum monocoque or space frame when creating a sports car from scratch? I've been a bit on the fence about it. For design so far, I just have the rear suspension partially done. If you're doing aluminum monocoque, you're really locked in. You have to get the design exactly right. If you're doing a tube frame, you can always cut things out and move stuff around and add stuff to it a lot easier. So if you're like hand prototyping yourself, tube frame goes a long way. Also, you can design a tube frame a lot with square tube, and then the flat areas like the floor or the sides, you can rivet aluminum to it and bond it and make sort of a monocoque. So that's a real smart way to go. What you woofing at? We're talking to these people. We can't see them, but we can write to them. What? I'm gonna have to play Coco Melon in another window. No, better not do. Boo boo. What? Do you want to go play in the front? You silly. You silly. I might have to go soon, you guys. Oh, okay. Is it normal to not feel comfortable going above second gear? Don't push buttons, boogie. In the beginning, I feel like I have to handle the car quicker. Should I just get over the fear and do it anyway, or slowly work up to it? I can't recall where you are, what your deal is. Have you driven another car like faster, or is this the first car you've driven? I can get how you feel. I think I remember feeling maybe a little bit like that when I was a teenager, just learning to drive stick for the first time. So, don't feel bad, but you are going to have to, lace up your boots tighter and get at it, because you're going to have to be able to maintain speed of traffic and not, sometimes the worst thing you do is just be all tentative. Okay. All right, you guys, tell him to enunciate. Who am I telling to enunciate? Anyway. All right. No problem on the chassis question, dude. I'm gonna go back outside, sweetie. So that's about it, guys. Stuff's coming up. I got something I'm supposed to do with someone else with media, which could be really cool if it happens, that you guys would enjoy. I can't tell you anything. And I've got some plans for myself that's beyond cars and media if it happens. But once I go through that door, I'm not going to be able to come back. So that's going to be big. But I'll always keep this channel going, even if it's on idle. And this person writes, I own a 2010 Mustang GT. Love the 2010's body style. And it is actually the only year with its particular styling, mainly the front end. Should I upgrade to something else or hold it? Well, if you love it, hang on to it, man. But if it's not cutting the mustard or cutting the cheese, cutting the butter, I don't know, one of those things, then maybe it's time for you to do something else. I'm more of a Corvette guy than I am traditional muscle cars, because I like things that are lower and theoretically handle better. Just like I like pointy cars, All right, you all. Well, have a great day wherever it is in the world that you are, whether it's Norway, Saudi Arabia, United States, or Australia. Thanks for watching. It was fun to hang out in the garage. And that's really all I got. But yeah, appreciate it. Means a lot. So thank you. And thanks for everybody who contributed on the super chat too. It makes for nice lunch money for me and the students and the guys who are working. All right, I'm out. Bye. I'll type it. See you guys.